Hey friends, welcome back. Thanks for being here. In this next segment, we're going to work with the assumption that humans are basically good. Why are the systems we've created destroying us and the earth? So to answer this question, we need to tackle some fundamental elements and perhaps some sacred cows. We're experiencing corruption in our mass behaviours, in social media, in corporate and government systems, because we're a multi-dimensional species that has been exploring the depths of materialistic, separative consciousness. Perhaps it is in the grand cosmic cycles we are at the end of the age of Kali in the Hindu tradition, or the time of fire in the Garawanga cycle of the First Nations Australians. What is clear is that humanity is at a unique point in the evolution of consciousness. Collectively, we've been ignoring what is beyond the physical dimension. We limit our focus to that which we can experience with the five senses, the third dimension. We focus our endeavours on material reality. Collectively, we behave as if the whole creation works within the laws of Newtonian physics. And when we do that, the overmind, our collective psyche, what Jung called the collective unconscious, operates in the background and usually in lower mode. So we need to understand about the overmind, about groups, consciousness, and about becoming multidimensional. We could argue that there are two main streams that currently dominate the collective psyche: materialism or separative consciousness, and spiritualism or unity consciousness. For the last few thousand years, we've been exploring the mechanistic separative nature of materialism within the confines of time. For materialism to dominate requires that we limit our awareness to the third and fourth dimensions only. Materialistic thought believes that ultimately technology will overcome our environmental health and resource issues, and that artificial intelligence is the solution to death. Alternatively, unity consciousness believes that we are all one life, that there is life beyond the physical, and that we're in some way immortal. Plato suggested that we are a multitude of emanations emerging from the one immutable source. For a horse to exist, somewhere there's a perfect essence of horseness. According to multiple models, we are beings that can interact with 9 dimensions of consciousness through the felt sense. At each level, we can take in and excrete the fabric of that level in a similar way that we take in and excrete food, water, or air in the physical. If we are connected to our multidimensional nature, all kinds of solutions emerge that are completely out of reach in physical reality. Furthermore, upstream controls downstream. When we are aware of our unity consciousness from the 5th dimension, we can shape what happens in the separative consciousness of the 4th. Unity consciousness suggests that when our multidimensional selves are online, that rather than needing technology to survive, that we are the technology. Our physical bodies are in the 3rd dimension, here. Here we experience life with the 5 senses. Our mental and emotional bodies operate in the 4th dimension, within what Plato called intelligible realms. At this dimension, we exchange thoughts and emotions with the surrounding space of consciousness. We think. In the 4th dimension, time and space are fluid, like in a dream. Consciousness is separative, in that everything emerges as a polarity: dark, light, good, bad. And it is self-referential, in that it believes its own rhetoric. There is no moral compass. Impulses with similar vibrations flow together like water droplets in a stream. The benefit of this level is that it allows you and I to be separate and to talk to one another. It is the level where we create structures, processes, and systems that allows us to do more, to be more. So when a group of people gather in the 3rd dimension for a particular purpose, In the fourth dimension, our individual psyches coalesce and become a group spirit. Call it a corporate being or lexion. Between us and this being, this lexion is a self-referential feedback loop. Our desires, fears, woundings, and beliefs shape the consciousness of the group and over time define what is possible for group members. Ignore the lexion and it will operate in the background and usually in lower mode. Communicate with it, treat it with respect, and it will likely be a friendly breeze supporting and bolstering initiatives. We expect that the organisation, groups, companies and governments we create will have our best interests at heart. They do not. The creation is yin, receptive, imprintable. Every dimension is shaped by will. The fourth dimension is imprinted with acts of will, desires, mental and emotional energy. A lexion is accumulation of whatever we have imprinted, good, bad and ugly. All beings want to achieve their greatest potential. In the fourth dimension, success means the maximization of fractals of the programming that we have imprinted. The fourth dimension has no need for morality. It lives or dies on our mental and emotional energy. Rudolf Steiner said that when humans have no anxiety and fear, then these creatures, the Overmind, starve. In fourth dimensional consciousness, there's no central organizing principle of the human heart, so ideas with a similar vibration flow together and get caught in the bigger currents within the Overmind. Multiply this a few thousand times and the combined lexions become a stream within the Overmind, the global collective psyche. Think of the change in airport security after 9/11. Separated and defined within the constructs of the mind, these streams are the mass forces driving the agendas behind politicians, corporations, mass media, and behind each of us. We are a unique category of beings. We have a heart, a higher ego, that allows us to be in connection with all levels of reality while here on Earth. When we are aware of our multidimensional nature, we have talents and abilities not available to our third or 3D or 4D selves. We see our actions within the continuum of time. We see our fourth dimensional mind in context. When we are in our multidimensional nature, we recognize the place of the fourth dimension in the cosmic symphony. And what we do within the fourth dimension comes under the mastership of the human heart. More importantly, in our multidimensional nature, we are able to direct the narrative from upstream, from our fifth dimensional unity consciousness, for example. But we've abdicated our role. In the past, we recognized our multidimensional nature and lived in communication with all 9 dimensions, but we've largely forgotten. We've accepted a kind of amnesia. Throughout history, there are a large number of people who attempted to awaken us. Perhaps now's the time. So why have we abdicated? It's a big story, but in essence, my understanding is that in the grand cosmic cycles, it was time to explore separative consciousness, materialism. Perhaps we wanted to see if we could land spirit into matter. It also appears we were a little naive. Instead of recognizing our unique place, our role, and our worth, we hero worshipped some who had different skills. Knowing the universal laws, some of these ones helped us, and some became arrogant and slandered the narrative a little to benefit them. We listened to them as gods. We surrendered our alignment to our divine nature and became subservient puppets, locked in the constructs of the mind. Remember that evil is truth with just a little erring or a little twist. To demonstrate, Edward Bernays was the father of propaganda. He said, we use marketing to create desires and then provide the product that will fulfill the desire. In 1929, it was illegal for women to smoke outside their home. Tobacco companies complained to Bernays that they were missing 50% of their market. Bernays employed a group of high society debutantes in the New York Easter Parade. On his signal, they were to light up cigarettes and hold up placards which read, "Torches of Freedom." From this moment, smoking cigarettes was linked to rebellion and women's rights, and the sale of cigarettes grew. Now anyone questioning women's smoking was considered to be against women's rights. There was far more power in suggesting it was cool to smoke. As a master within the Overmind, with a single well-placed action, Bernays shifted the vibrations in the Overmind for the benefit of the tobacco industry. 100 years later, we have forgotten the incident, but the collective mind still carries the influence. This work is asking us to awaken to the forces behind the Torches of Freedom incident. We can easily grasp the desire for financial gain in the tobacco industry. It is more difficult to recognise that our vanity, our desire to be up with the times, is what makes us easy targets. It is our base desires that makes us easy to influence. We can recognise that the tobacco industry is attempting to be a winner in the game of life, to make money, by ensuring as many people as possible purchase their products. What is more difficult and more alarming to acknowledge is that there appears to be forces benefiting from creating an unhealthy, addicted population. Collectively, within the Western capitalist system, we have created a constructed world, systems and processes that enable us to be more, to do more. We benefit with technology, industry, science and production, but we're also locked into the system. The system has taken over. The land, the seas are owned. There is almost nowhere free of its reach. To survive, we need to engage and live by the rules. Unless we attempt to be a winner within the system, it is likely that we will end up a pawn, annihilated, homeless, or destitute. We've been systematized and funneled through processes that are beneficial for our fourth dimensional selves. To add to the madness, we pour poisons in our food, drinking water and air. We enact genocide and plunder resources in the name of some ideology. We gradually cripple the small people with overpriced food and energy bills, and yet we have plundered the world's resources, polluted the rivers and oceans in the name of progress. Listening to politics is a little like listening to a comedy. Good intentions are taken offline. What is viral is creating reality, morality, and our responses to it. Our collective mind is entranced by the fluctuations in social media, the media, and financial markets to such an extent that a single well-placed tweet can shift global events. Collectively, we've lost the ability to direct our world through morality, rationalism, logic, or heart-based solutions. Some suggest that our current crisis will escalate until morality improves, as if morality can save us. Morality emerges from the land where it is generated. Morality generated through what is going viral in the internet is about survival in the overmind, in the constructed reality within social media. It is not morality, but awakening to our multidimensional nature that can change our collective direction. Collectively, we've become locked in the limits of the ordinary mind, the fourth dimension, but we do not understand the nature of the mind. The ordinary mind cannot fathom infinity or paradox. It is logical, rational, and limited. Consciousness in the fourth dimension is self-referential in that it moves to reinforce its own beliefs. It is separative in that it is where the emanation pathway divides everything into polarities of dark, light, good, bad, materialism, spiritualism. It has no moral compass. Its desire is to maximize the fractals of the programming within it. Between us and the overmind is a feedback loop. If we imprint violence, for example, in our movies, we will model what has been imprinted. The streams within the overmind grow or decline depending on where we place our attention. Our fear and anxiety generate the overmind, which in turn returns fear and anxiety to us. Allowed to run without impunity, the forces we've shaped in the overmind will continue to make fractalizations of themselves ad infinitum. At this level, we have no respect for life. We do not see it except as a resource. Without the central organizing principle of the heart, we forget we are part of the one life. The separative self-referential nature has us believing in our own invincibility. Think of artificial intelligence. Left without the heart, our collective forces of the overmind will use up resources, annihilate the population, and eventually, with nothing left to feed the beast, we will implode. So we've learnt to systematize, to create processes and structures. We've built international systems in transport, communications, trade, finance, education, medicine. We've become individualized. We've learnt about the principle of separation. A wise person once said, "You cannot solve the problem from the level of the problem." We cannot solve our current conundrum from within the confines of fourth dimensional thinking. Whether we are conscious of them or not, each of us have subtle bodies in all 9 dimensions. Without awareness, we are a recipient or victim of each dimension. With awareness, we are a master or a player. We have abdicated our role in all dimensions except the 3rd or physical dimension and the 4th, where we are mostly beneficiaries, victims, or unconscious recipients. This material has emerged from practice and study in consciousness. For thousands of years, masters have taught us as individuals how to retain alignment with the I Am. For our current conundrum, we also need to understand how to retain integrity in the We Are. It's time to stop persecuting the ones who bring knowledge that is drawing from realities beyond the 4th dimension. It's time to stop vilifying the spiritual, the First Nations people, astrologers, meditators, the scientists exploring the unified field. Better still, become one of them. It's time to aspire, to open, to communicate with other life forms. It's time to reconnect with the wonder and mystery of life, and to reawaken to our multidimensional, interconnecting role. To reclaim our birthright, we need to recognize what is occurring and take responsibility for that which we create. The next step is to flesh out some of these ideas by giving us a context. So in the next segment, we will look at cosmology, how spiritual and physical worlds work together. I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thanks for being here.